Ba-da, 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 ba. I think we're live. Pretty sure. I'm gonna give it a second, just in case. I think we're live now. Okay. So, what's going on, everyone? ActiveSyn here. Thought I'd do a little live video with you guys to give you my thoughts on this, because it's really hot and I don't feel like spending hours editing. So, we're gonna do it this way. We're going to talk about this travesty, heresy. Oh, my God. I'm going to try and not get angry, because at the end of the day, I have ways around this. But this is a perfect example of why I've been saying recently that I do not care about what games come to the Switch that are from third parties. Because a lot of them are gonna have problems like this. So let's look at Sonic Forces, coming out to the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PS4, and PC later this year. And as you can see here, here's Sonic jumping. He's super happy, but he's jumping in 30 frames per second, folks. That's right, Sonic Forces runs at 30 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch. And before you say, hey Alex, it must be running at 30 frames per second on the Xbox One and the PS4 and maybe even the PC as well, right? It's gotta be, right? Wrong. Let's take a look. So, on the Xbox One and the PS4, the game will run at 60 frames per second. And of course, on PC, you can run it higher depending on your graphics card and settings and all that nonsense. But on the Switch, only the Switch, 30 frames per second, half of the frame rate. I'm pretty sure this is the only Sonic game ever to be in 30 frames per second. They're always in 60 because Sonic is one of, if not the most fast-paced games out there. And yet, they are making the sacrifice they decided to make for the Switch is to drop the frame rate by half. And on top of that, the visuals are also taking a hit. Now, you can say whatever you want. Maybe it's the hardware. Maybe the hardware can't handle this game. But I'm going to throw this back at you. Mario Odyssey, an open world Mario game that has a lot of stuff going on, is 60 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch. This game, which is extremely linear, is 30 frames per second. Try to justify it to me. Please, explain it to me. How this is okay. This is garbage. This is trash, worthless dog shit. Yay, you can take it on the go with you. Whoop-de-doo. That's cool. Maybe if you're okay with cutting your frames in half and you want to take it out on the go, by all means, get this game. Be excited. I don't want you to feel bad if you want this game. But I'm showing you examples of what is going to happen on the Nintendo Switch, at least how I feel is going to happen on the Nintendo Switch, because third parties don't want to put the effort into these ports for the very few that we get. We'll click this source here. It brings us to this other... Oh, first of all, sorry. This is from a Nintendo enthusiast. Make sure to check out their site. They're a bunch of cool dudes. So, yeah, go check that shit out. But this is the source that they got it from. Same things, telling you the game runs at 30 frames per second, and the guys there had played the game, and they said it is very noticeable, as it, of course, 30 frames per second compared to 60, especially in a fast-paced game like Sonic, will be very noticeable. And this is just the beginning, folks. We're already seeing no Call of Duty, no Battlefield, no Battlefront. A lot of games are missing, no Assassin's Creed. We got Steep. We have Mario Rabbids, which looks cool. We're getting some stuff, but a lot of stuff either isn't coming, or you're getting shit like this. And I'm supposed to be advocating for third-party games on the Switch? No, I'm sorry, I cannot do it. What's up, Matt? It will probably sell very well on the Switch, even though it is definitely the most inferior version, because a lot of Nintendo fans like Sonic, and it's unfortunate that you're going to get a version like this. I can't believe they're doing this. Like, there must have been a way to reduce the visuals even further and make it 60 frames per second in a Sonic game. Mario's doing it. Open world game. This game can't do it. Yeah, that's why I'm like, when it comes to the whole third party thing, like, we're talking like Twitter battles for days at this point about, oh, a third party needs to do this, oh, Nintendo fans should wait, all this shit, and I'm just sitting here going, yeah, we can wait. Yeah, third parties can bring their games, that's great. But look what they're giving you. Monster Hunter, we don't get the new one. We get a fucking 3DS up-res port. Sonic here, can't even manage 60 FPS. Again, possibly the first Sonic game ever to run at 30 FPS. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I love the Switch. Like, I know it's coming off like I'm sounding like I don't like it. I think this thing is freaking awesome. I love this thing. I take it everywhere with me, and I never enjoy handheld devices like a 3DS. But I like taking the Switch around because you get console experience, games on the go, and local co-op on the go. I think that's really cool. But I know what I'm getting with this device. That's first-party Nintendo games, third-party exclusives that Nintendo is helping with, and indie games, because third-party multiplats always look worse on the Switch because of the hardware limitations. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But this is something I have a problem with. Stuff like this, you're reducing the frame rate by half, or the FIFA, where they're taking out the fucking story mode. How anyone can damage control that is beyond me. And there's stuff like NBA, which is cool. The NBA version of Switch, NBA 18 or whatever, that one is like an actual good port. It's like, it's a fucking miracle. But then there's just like all these other games that like look worse or will run worse, which is unfortunate. Unless they put the time in, like Mario Rabbids looks amazing, runs smooth. Exclusive games, of course, ARMS 1080p 60, Mario Kart 1080p 60. And Mario Odyssey, I think it's 720p, but again, 60 FPS. Like, that's what I want. I want the games to be smooth. That's what I'm accustomed to on Nintendo consoles. Because outside of Zelda, most Nintendo games are 60 frames per second, which is what I like, which is why I've transitioned more to PC at this point for my other stuff. Because the other consoles, for their third-party games, are 30 frames per second. But, like, not for this game. This one's 60 over on the PlayStation and Xbox. But, like, this is just super annoying to me. Third parties don't try to harness the power of the consoles, they just do what's the easiest. Yeah, that's absolutely true. You are right about that. They always take the easiest way out, and it's not entirely their fault. It's a lot of it's the publishers, because they want them to rush the games out to make their quarterly earnings or whatever the hell they want to do. They want to get it out quickly to damn the consumer. Who cares? We'll just fix it in a patch later, and they never do. And that it just is what it is. Like, I am fully aware what I'm getting with this. Again, Nintendo games, third-party exclusives, and indies. That's what this thing is going to be about. You'll get the rare third-party multi-plat that'll run okay on it. Maybe like some Lego games or Skylanders or whatever. But like, I'm not expecting this thing to get like the big AAA games. Even with this wait-and-see stuff when the install base goes larger. 2 years down the road, we start getting Call of Duties. At that point, who cares? That's 2 years later, when you should have been getting it at a launch. And this one is not even a quote-unquote rushed port to make the launch of the Switch, because this game comes out at the end of the year alongside all the other ones. So that argument is out the window. This is not a rushed game. This is being built alongside the other versions, and it still runs like shit compared to the other versions. Sega, my god, how can you not get this game to run at 60 frames per second? Nintendo, how are you allowing them to release this version of this game at half the frames of your competition? Absolutely ridiculous. The Switch is not that much weaker than the Xbox One. We know this based on its hardware. Yeah, it's weak compared to the Pro and the Scorpio, but it's really not that far off from the Xbox One, the standard one. There's no reason this game shouldn't be very similar to the performance of the Xbox One, of course with lower graphical settings because it's a little bit weaker, but half the frame rate just not acceptable. Pre-order Splatoon. Oh, yeah, there you go, another one. Splatoon 2, another 60 frames per second game. Like, Nintendo's first-party games are 60 frames per second on the Switch, and they all look good. You can bet your ass Yoshi will be 60 frames per second. You can bet your ass Kirby will be 60 frames per second. And when Smash Brothers eventually comes out, that's going to be 1080p 60 frames per second. But Sonic here, Mr. Gotta Go Fast, running at 30. You're not going fast, you're slow as hell. Out of here with that shit. Oh, that actually went in the garbage. Switch can't handle NES games. I don't know about that, but there should be a rule for Nintendo version to have parity. Absolutely, and parity comes up to Nintendo. Nintendo needs to set the rules with this shit. You can't have this. How are you letting your consumers have the inferior version of a game? Oh my god. Again, personally, it will not affect me. I just find it frustrating that we're still having these problems with the new Nintendo console. I have other places to get this. I have a PlayStation, I have a PC, I'll get it on one of those. So for me, it's not a problem, but if you are a Nintendo-only owner and you only have a Switch, this sucks for you. And I don't see why anyone would be happy with this. Because it's going to run like shit. And it looks worse. There's no advantage other than you can take it around with you. Which is cool. But it runs like shit. So does it really matter? I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comments here. Let me read some of these and we're going to get out of here. I don't want to make this too long. Because it's really freaking hot, guys. There should be a rule for Nintendo version. Oh, we already read that. Hi, One White Kong. What the hell? Okay. Whatever. I guess you guys don't have any questions. But I'm going to get out of here. And it will cost $10 more because of the cartridge. Please, God, no. Can you imagine if this thing is $10 more because it's on the cartridge? Oh, my gosh. $10 more for half the frames. Exciting times, guys. Yeah. Are you guys picking up Sonic Forces? On the Switch, I'm assuming Sonic Mania is parity because that's like a 2D platformer. There's no way that's gonna run like crap. Yeah. So PC, PS4, Xbox One, 60 frames per second. My little Nintendo Switch that I love so much, 30 frames per second. I feel bad for you. You are getting the shaft from Sega and Capcom. A lot of shaft from Capcom. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I think I'll play some Rise and Shine. If you guys want to check that out, I'll be streaming that soon. But yeah, this stream is done. Third parties on the Switch. Not for me, guys. Sorry. Maybe a few here and there. Like Rocket League looks good. But if we're talking AAA multi-plats on the Switch, a lot of them will probably be like this. And I am just not about that life. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.